While it's safe to assume everyone has heard about the tragic assassination of US President John F. Kennedy, most probably don't know the story about the presidential limousine in which it happened. On November 22, 1963, President John F. Kennedy, his wife Jacqueline, Texas Governor John Connally, and his wife Nellie rode in the presidential limousine, a Lincoln Continental, through the streets of Dallas, Texas. At approximately 12:30 p.m., as the motorcade was passing by the Texas School Book Depository, gunshots rang out. Bullets struck President Kennedy on his head and neck, and he was immediately transported to the nearby Parkland Memorial Hospital. The efforts to save the president's life failed, and according to the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum, JFK was pronounced dead at 1 p.m. According to history, Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested and charged for the president's assassination, but he never stood trial. He was shot dead 2 days later by nightclub owner Jack Ruby while being transferred from the Dallas police headquarters to the county jail. In the years since, there have been many questions regarding JFK's assassination, and one of them has to do with the president's Lincoln Continental. What exactly happened to that limousine?
This is a 1961 Lincoln Continental. Lincoln had a whole new design that year, very clean, very elegant, very modern.
The midnight blue Lincoln Continental was built by the Ford Motor Company in 1961. To make it fit for use during presidential parades, modifications were done by Hess and Eisenhart, a coach building company that specialized in armored vehicles. According to the Henry Ford Museum, the two companies collaborated to customize the vehicle, which the Secret Service codenamed X100. The original Lincoln Continental was cut in half, and a 3.5-foot extension was added to lengthen it. The vehicle included removable roof panels, heating and air conditioning systems, flashing red lights, two radio telephones, and a hydraulic seat to elevate the president. The original car cost about $7,300, but the added features cost almost $200,000, approximately $1.8 million in today's money. The Ford Motor Company remained the owner of the presidential limousine, leasing it to the Secret Service for roughly $500 a year. Most of us might assume that the vehicle was retired after President Kennedy's assassination, but that wasn't the case. According to the New York Daily News, the presidential limousine was transported back to the White House via cargo plane and kept for evidence while it was documented and analyzed by the Warren Commission, the FBI, and the Secret Service. The windshield, which was hit by a bullet, was removed. The White House authorized work to repair and modify the Lincoln Continental in December 1963. For the Henry Ford Museum, it was sent to Hess and Eisenhart in Cincinnati, Ohio, where it was rebuilt. It was then transported to Ford Motor Company's garage in Dearborn, Michigan to receive new black paint, reinforced structural parts, additional communication technology, a non-removable top, and armor for the passenger compartments. In total, the modifications reportedly cost $500,000 to complete, about $4.6 million in today's money. According to Old Cars Weekly, Kennedy's presidential limousine was used by a few presidents throughout the years, including Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, and Jimmy Carter. As Motor Biscuit explains, President Johnson only used the Lincoln Continental a few times during his presidency, as he was not completely comfortable with it. He opted to ride in other cars from the White House fleet whenever possible. Other presidential vehicles were built in 1968 and 1972, but Kennedy's Lincoln Continental remained a part of the White House fleet until it was finally retired in 1977.
People are always just stunned when I tell them that this car was used, and indeed used until 1977.
It was then sent to the Henry Ford Museum of American Innovation located in Dearborn, Michigan, and it is displayed together with other cars built by the Ford Motor Company. To this day, the JFK Lincoln Continental remains one of the museum's most popular displays. With its shiny exterior and superb condition, those who aren't aware of the vehicle's story wouldn't think that it is one of the most notorious vehicles in American history. Some of the museum's visitors leave flowers by the Lincoln Continental, especially on November 22nd, the anniversary of Kennedy's death.